140 years in the tomb. They expected bones, dust, complete decomposition. But when they opened the reliquary containing her heart preserved separately from the body, they gasped. The heart remained unexpectedly well preserved, far beyond what would normally be expected after so many years. The heart that Jesus showed his own heart to. The heart that made reparation for ingratitude. The heart that burned with love for the Sacred Heart. Many among the faithful saw this unusual preservation as a sign of divine favor. As if heaven itself declared, "This heart loved my heart. I will not let it fully decay." Today, over 330 years after her death, it remains in Paray-le-Monial, where she first saw his heart. The preservation of Margaret Mary's heart is documented in exhumation records from 1830 and 1864, in beatification and canonization processes spanning nearly a century. The heart remains today in the chapel of the Apparitions at Paray-le-Monial, the exact chapel where Jesus revealed his Sacred Heart to her in 1673. You can visit it, displayed in an ornate reliquary, visible through crystal. For over 190 years since its discovery, pilgrims have venerated this relic. The heart that loved the Sacred Heart most is itself preserved living testimony to the devotion she established. But to understand what they found in 1830, we must return to October 1690, when that heart stopped beating. After Jesus' revelations between 1673 and 1675, Margaret Mary lived another 15 years at the Visitation Convent, spreading Sacred Heart devotion despite opposition. By 1690, she was 43 years old, worn out from mystical sufferings, penances, and an intense spiritual life that had consumed her entire being. Autumn came. Margaret Mary fell seriously ill. She knew death was near and prepared peacefully, her thoughts fixed where they had always been. Her final words focused on Jesus' heart. "I need nothing but God, and to lose myself in the heart of Jesus." On October 17, 1690, she died peacefully in the convent infirmary, surrounded by her sisters. The community mourned. She had gone from being mocked to being recognized as holy, though still not universally accepted. They buried her in the convent cemetery at Paray-le-Monial. A simple grave initially. Standard burial, no embalming, no special preservation efforts. Her body was laid to rest, expected to decompose naturally like any other. The years passed. 1 year, 10 years, 50 years, a century. For 140 years, she lay in that grave. The Sacred Heart devotion she had started began spreading slowly at first, then more rapidly across France, across Europe, across the Catholic world. By 1830, the beatification process had begun. Time to examine her remains. The date was set. Church officials gathered, doctors, witnesses, all present for what should have been a routine exhumation routine. At least, in the making of saints. They expected what everyone expects after 140 years in the ground. Bones, perhaps some fragments of clothing, nothing more. They opened the tomb carefully. The body had decomposed significantly, as expected after 14 decades. Skeletal remains, primarily, nothing miraculous about the body's state. Normal decomposition, but the heart. Historical records indicate that at some earlier stage, likely during burial preparations or an earlier exhumation, the heart had been removed and placed in a separate reliquary. This was not unusual. Important relics were sometimes preserved separately. What was unusual was what happened when they opened the container holding that heart. Astonishment, not skeletal, not dust. The heart remained preserved in remarkable condition. Not perfectly fresh, certainly. It had been 140 years. But recognizable, intact, not completely decomposed as would normally be expected. The doctors examined it. No clear natural explanation was identified by the examiners at the time. No embalming detected. After 140 years, a human heart would typically be completely decomposed if exposed to any moisture or bacteria, or completely desiccated and mummified if kept in extremely dry conditions. Either way, it would normally be unrecognizable as a heart, formless, disintegrated, returned to dust. Margaret Mary's heart, still recognizable, structure intact, form preserved. Doctors noted that such preservation was highly unusual and difficult to explain naturally. This was not the complete incorruption witnessed in saints like Bernadette or Catherine Labouré, whose entire bodies remained supernaturally preserved. Margaret Mary's heart showed signs of age darkening, some desiccation, but it had not decomposed as expected. Many saw in this partial preservation a sign of heaven's favor enough to testify to her holiness, but not so miraculous as to be absolutely undeniable, leaving room for faith while providing a physical sign. 34 years later, in 1864, Pope Pius IX beatified Margaret Mary. Her remains were examined again during the beatification process. The heart, now 174 years after death, still showed that same remarkable preservation beyond normal expectations. After beatification, the heart was enshrined more formally, placed in an ornate reliquary in the chapel. Not just any chapel, the chapel of the Apparitions, the exact location where Jesus had revealed his Sacred Heart to her nearly 2 centuries before. In the place where she saw his heart, her heart would remain, physical testimony to their mystical union. In 1920, before Pope Benedict XV canonized Margaret Mary on May 13, the heart was examined one final time, 230 years after her death, still preserved, still recognizable, still defying normal expectations of decay. The Church declared her a saint, affirming her holiness, the authenticity of her visions, the divine origin of Sacred Heart devotion, and the unusual preservation of her heart was seen by many as a confirming sign testifying to her sanctity, validating the devotion, suggesting that hearts devoted to his heart are specially marked. But why? Why was her heart preserved in this particular way? Many spiritual writers and theologians have interpreted this preservation as deeply symbolic, layer upon layer of meaning woven into one physical reality. First, consider the exchange. Jesus revealed his heart to Margaret. Mary showed her the physical organ itself, wounded, crowned with thorns, burning with flames of love. She responded with her whole heart, total devotion, complete gift of self. Many saw in her heart's preservation a divine response. You gave your heart to my heart. I preserve your heart as I preserve mine, in the Eucharist, in heaven, in eternity. A heart-to-heart exchange made visible, tangible, undeniable. Second, consider her own words. Margaret Mary wrote constantly about her heart, burning with love for the Sacred Heart. This wasn't merely metaphor. During her mystical experiences, she felt physical sensations of heat, of burning in her chest. That heart which literally burned with supernatural love, many believed. Heaven preserved it from natural corruption. Love's fire preserved it from decay's fire. Third, consider the testimony. Skeptics might doubt her visions. They might say, she imagined it, psychological phenomenon. Not really Jesus. But her preserved heart testifies. Something supernatural happened to this woman. Heaven itself marked her. The Sacred Heart devotion she established has divine origin. Physical evidence supporting spiritual truth. Of all saints, Margaret Mary had the most intimate relationship with Jesus' physical heart. He showed it to her, opened his chest, revealed the organ beating with love. She meditated on it constantly, the wound, the thorns, the flames surrounding it. How fitting, then, that her heart be preserved, the heart that loved his heart most purely, a sign declaring, Sacred Heart devotion is real. This woman really saw my heart. Look, I preserved hers in return. Margaret Mary's mission had been reparation to console the Sacred Heart for coldness, ingratitude, sacrilege toward the Eucharist. She offered her heart to console his. Many among the faithful understood this preservation as heaven's acceptance of that offering, the heart she gave, continuing to make reparation even after death by its very existence, drawing people to love his heart. Everyone devoted to the Sacred Heart can look at Margaret Mary's preserved heart and understand, if I give my heart to his heart in love, in reparation, in devotion, he will preserve my heart eternally. Not necessarily physically, but spiritually, in heaven, in his own heart. Her physical preservation is understood by many as a sign of spiritual preservation for all who love the Sacred Heart. And the location matters. Her heart is enshrined where she saw his heart, the chapel of the Apparitions. Pilgrims come there to honor the Sacred Heart. They see her heart too. The geography reinforces the theology. A reminder in stone and crystal. A human heart, responded to his heart. You can too. Today, in the chapel of the Apparitions at Paray-le-Monial, the heart remains. The ornate golden reliquary has a crystal viewing panel. Inside, the heart is visible, darkened with age, brownish-reddish in color, smaller than in life due to some desiccation, but the general structure and outline still distinguishable as a human heart. After over 330 years, the form preserved, the basic shape intact. Pilgrims can see it year-round. The chapel is a major pilgrimage site. Hundreds of thousands visit annually. On the June Feast of the Sacred Heart, special veneration is offered. Many pray before both the altar, where Jesus appeared to her in vision, and the reliquary, holding her preserved heart. Two focal points of devotion, two testimonies to the same reality. Jesus' love is real, physical, personal. This is not merely a relic, a curiosity for the faithful. It is living testimony that Sacred Heart devotion is divinely inspired. A physical connection to the mystic who changed Catholic spirituality forever. A reminder that hearts devoted to his heart are specially blessed, specially preserved. A symbol of heart-to-heart love between Jesus and souls. Margaret Mary gave her whole heart to Jesus. Many see in its preservation a sign of heaven's favor. You can give yours too, spiritually, completely, without reservation. Consecrate yourself to the Sacred Heart. Practice the devotion she received in vision. Make reparation for the coldness that still wounds his heart. Jesus showed Margaret Mary his physical heart, making clear that his love is real, physical, personal. Your heart matters to him too. He wants your love, your devotion, your heart beating for him in return. The complaints Jesus made to Margaret Mary, ingratitude toward the Eucharist, coldness in worship, sacrilege against his real presence, remain true today. Perhaps more true than ever. Make reparation. Console his heart, as Margaret Mary did. Offer what she offered, your heart in exchange for his. Her preserved heart is not just a curiosity, it testifies. Sacred Heart devotion is real, divinely given, worth practicing. Let the physical relic draw you to spiritual devotion. Let what many believe heaven preserved in her become alive in you. 140 years dead, they opened the reliquary holding her heart. Found it unexpectedly well preserved, the heart that loved his heart, that made reparation for coldness, that saw his Sacred Heart in vision. Many among the faithful saw this as a sign of what happens when a heart is given entirely to God. This week, consecrate yourself to the Sacred Heart. Pray, Sacred Heart of Jesus, I give you my heart. Preserve it for eternity. Make it burn with love for you, as Margaret Mary's did. Visit Paray-le-Monial if you can. Stand before that crystal reliquary. See with your own eyes the remarkable preservation associated with a woman whose life was entirely given to the Sacred Heart. Heaven honors what is given completely. Give him your heart.